All righty, welcome back for another episode of Two Plane Sports. Today, as promised, this video is going to cover our recruiting predictions for the upcoming month of July. Well, I guess end of June, end of July, over the next 4 weeks. It's the beginning of a dead period. It's kind of the calm before the storm, before the fall semester and fall football season really starts kicking off for these coaches and these players. So we're going to go through and we're going to give you guys four of our eight predictions tonight, who we could see committing over the next month or so. And then we are going to be having a live stream tonight, as you're watching this. It'll be Monday, the 27th at 8 p.m. Central Time. So we're going to reveal another four guys that we could see committing in the next month or so. So in our opinion, we see eight potential recruits committing over the next month, which I feel like will be music to, I know, our ears, but also everyone that's watching this will be very happy, considering what Texas has been doing and some other schools and the avalanche of recruits that they've been getting at various other schools. I think the onslaught of recruits committing to Oklahoma is just about to begin. And if it doesn't, that's when I'll start to become a little more concerned. But right now, I still feel good about everything. So we're going to cover four tonight. We're going to cover four in this video, so a total of eight. So be sure to, if you hadn't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell, turn that bell on. You'll get a notification whenever we go live officially. It'll be right around 8 p.m. Central. It might be a minute or two late or so, but be sure to tune in, spread the word, get all your friends and everyone in here, and we'll be revealing the other four and just having a live question and answering. You can find us on our social medias: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Apple, and Spotify. Everything's linked below. And if you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, be sure to leave a review. 5 stars, we prefer that, but just an honest review always helps. It'll spread the word. And anyone that's listening on Apple or Spotify, be sure to come over to the YouTube channel tonight so you can listen to the live stream at 8 o'clock. All right. But before we get into that, we got to talk a little bit about baseball. And, as we're recording this on Sunday evening. So OU has lost the national championship series to Ole Miss 2-0 in the series. It was quite a run. OU, it was a magical run. If you would have asked me middle of the season where I thought OU was going to finish, it would have been nowhere near the championship series. And it does suck that they ended up going all the way and then coming up short. But at the end of the day, Cade Horton looked great. I mean, how do you throw 7 1/3 innings and 13 strikeouts and you end up losing? You only give up one. Peyton Graham, he struggled a little bit in the last 2 games. But, overall, he's going to be a top pick in the MLB draft. There's a lot of positives, and it just sucks that they made it this far and they just came up short. Brandon, what do you think?
I mean, it sucks. I think today they kind of got screwed. I think it threw off a little bit of the momentum where when Spikerman lays down the bunt and we score from third, and they call if you want to call Spikerman out, that's fine, because I mean, if whatever I think that rule is stupid as hell. Because I mean, what else? He's running down the baseline. I don't know. I don't really know what he's supposed to do. You call him out, but you take the run off the board, even though the pitcher. We scored that run as the pitcher was picking the ball up to throw it to first. Like that, it had nothing to do with what happened over there at first. So, I mean, that hurt throughout some of the momentum. But yeah, you mentioned PG, Tanner Treadaway, the guys who have been so hot all postseason. Neither of them record a hit this in the champ series, which you don't predict that, you don't foresee that, and that hurt the team a little bit. I mean, a lot of it actually. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. It was really, really a great run. Nobody would have predicted that this team would have played for national title. Bitter end to the season, but overall, like a very, very good season. There's a lot to be excited about going forward for them.
It is what it is at this point, but I do agree that call where, we should have been up 1-0, that was a huge momentum swing. And, people are going to be questioning Skip Johnson with throwing Cade Horton back out there in the 7th inning. He recorded his first strikeout, in the first, the first guy that he saw. He got up to 107 pitches, and then he gave up a single, which, at the end of the day, the guy was dealing, and he only gave up one single. it's not the end of the world. And Trevin Michael, yeah, he could have started, the eighth inning. But I think what Skip Johnson was thinking, in my opinion, was, well, if we win this game, we're going to need Michael tomorrow. So if we can, Cade Horton's done. He's not going to pitch tomorrow. We can get another out or two, or maybe through the eighth inning to spare Trevin Michael for, only having to come out for the ninth inning. That's huge for him to be more fresh for tomorrow. And maybe he was counting his chickens before they hatched. But I don't blame him. I would have thrown out Horton. I was a little shocked to see Horton go out there since he never threw over 100 pitches in a single game this season. Do you have any thoughts on that?
It was interesting to see him go so deep, but I mean, at the end of the day, there is no tomorrow for Cade Horton. We knew that, and the way he was playing, it's hard to pull him out. And I also imagine he's going to the dugout pretty locked in with the way he was throwing the ball today. And I feel like he was probably vouching for himself as just as competitors do, saying don't take me out of the game, and Skip kind of let it ride. And yeah, there will be backlash for him pulling him after giving up just a single, but at the same time, if he kept him in after the single and then he got himself into a little bit of trouble, say a 3-1 count, 2-0 count, or gave a walk or another single, people would have said it was the wrong play to keep him in. There's no winning in that situation for Skip Johnson, especially with a guy like Trevor Michael coming in and who's been just dominant all postseason. And again, just kind of like Peyton Graham and Treadaway, just unfortunately played some of their worst at the biggest stage. But it is what it is.
And Jimmy Crooks, for whatever reason, was having a hard time catching baseballs, and I don't know what the deal was. But, at the end of the day, Skip Johnson and his staff really got this team to play the best and, the best baseball OU has seen in the last, since 2010. So it's been over 10 years. You got to ride with him, right? It is what it is. He got you all the way there with his players, with his aggressive play calling and stealing and everything else. And it wasn't always perfect. I think about the game, I think it was, I forget which one, where the base running was horrible. I think it was Texas A&M or Notre Dame, maybe. I can't remember, earlier in the World Series. But, it is what it is. And the future's bright. $30 million of stadium renovations, going to the SEC. As long as Skip Johnson and his staff stays together, we're going to be good. We're going to have a couple first-round picks in this upcoming MLB draft that'll help recruiting as well. All right, so enough on that. Good season. We'll be looking forward to the next year. And so while most people are here now for football, we'll get into that now. All right, so the first of four guys we're going to be talking about that we could see being committed is Samuel Almossingo. And I believe that's how you say it. As Brandon and I were talking before, we always seem to recruit kids that have the last names that are tough to pronounce, but Almossingo, I believe. He's from Crandall, Texas, a 2023 three-star, number 412 overall, and number 35 linebacker in the class. And he's 6'1", 208 pounds. And I believe his rating is a little deceiving because that's his composite rating, but actually 247 has him as a 4-star, the number 20 linebacker in the class. But he also plays on offense. And you brought this up and you pointed this out before we got on, Brandon. But last year as a wide receiver, he had 803 yards and 7 touchdowns. And then on defense, he had 89 solo tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. He played every which way. 4 picks. I think he even played a little bit of special teams as well. I think his rating is a little low, but he is slated to announce his commitment on June 30th. He's coming off of an official visit to Florida. And while that visit was good, it just doesn't seem like it was really moving the needle for him. Crandall, Texas is obviously closer to Norman. So he's got, OU's got the geographic advantage here. I feel really good about Samuel Almossingo. What's your take on him? And I guess, do you think he's going to commit as well?
Yeah, I do. It's a good one to start the 2 Plain Sports Crystal Ball series that will continue tonight with our live stream. But Almossingo is a guy it's impossible not to like, just with what he brings to the table athletically. He's a 3-sport athlete, which again seems to be a trend in these kids that we've been recruiting under the Venables era. He plays basketball and runs track as well. And yeah, you mentioned the numbers that just jump off the page at you. 89 tackles, 4 picks, but also 800 yards. So he's obviously got really, really good ball skills at that linebacker spot. He's going to be able to make plays on passes over the middle. On he's going to be able to cover tight ends, cover slot receivers, because I mean he plays receiver too. He's going to bring a lot of versatility to the defense. I think maybe something that's holding him up as far as like the stars go and stuff, because his numbers jump right off at you. He might be a little undersized for a playing linebacker, but I think some of that is also be playing receiver. Most of your receivers aren't linebacker big. They're tall and stuff, but he's listed at about 6'1", 200, which I mean it's not a horrible size, but I guess maybe you want to see linebackers a little bigger. I can't think of what else is hurting his star rating, but I mean, again, stars don't always mean everything, because I think this kid can play pretty damn good. Just what he can do, like his ability, I think, to cover, being as a playing receiver as well. He's gonna. I think he brings a lot to the defense. His numbers are there. I think this is a good guy to start the Two Plane Sports Crystal Ball series with.
Yeah, that's a good way to segue into the Two Planes Crystal Ball series. He also plays at a bigger high school. Crandall, Texas is a 5A high school in the state of Texas, 5A Division II. So he's not playing at a little podunk school. I do think maybe it's the size that's holding him back a little bit, but I could see him easily going comfortably into the 4-star range as this fall approaches. So I feel like we'll be committing here very shortly. As we're recording this, it'll be in 4 days. That's supposedly when he's going to be dropping his commitment. And whether that happens or not, I guess we'll keep an eye on it, but I feel really good about him. So he might start the avalanche of recruits that we've been talking about. And there's another kid, that could commit here pretty close to OU. We've talked about him at length here, is Caden Green. Caden Green, not too far away, July 8th. He is a 2023 4-star, number 92 overall, number 12 offensive tackle in the class, 6'5", 315 pounds, from Lee's Summit, Missouri. We've talked about Caden Green at length on this show. Green's been on campus, I believe, 6 times, half dozen times or so. He's taken his official visit over the Champ U barbecue on the 3rd. He took before that, he went to Nebraska. He went to LSU, and I don't believe the visit that was slated, according to his 247 at Missouri, actually happened, which was supposed to be, the other day. So with Caden Green, with him supposedly canceling his trips to Michigan and Missouri after his LSU trip, it seems like he's locked down his recruitment and he knows where he wants to go. All the crystal balls are in on him to go to OU. 7 predictions. Steve Wilfong from 247 also has him in a crystal ball to Oklahoma. This is the one that I feel the most confident on. Obviously, all the crystal balls help, but when you're on campus six times or so since, in less than a year, and then you cancel trips, I feel like that's pretty obvious. If you ask me, what do you think?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I feel like of all the kids that we're going to talk about tonight or right now, and then later tonight, this is the one that it's impossible not to feel the very best about. Like, again, you don't visit someplace 6 or 7 times unless you're very, very serious about it. So that right there is a big sign. And you mentioned the cancellation of visits, which also trends well when you're sitting in the driver's seat for a recruit. He's one of 2 top 100 prospects that we're going to talk about on this video here, with the other one coming up a little bit later, but they're both out of Missouri. We're doing well in that area. But Caden Green is the first kid that we talked about. You mentioned that size, 6'5", 315. If you guys haven't seen his tape on 24/7, watch it because it's fun. First time I watched it, I remember we talked about it on this show. It actually reminds you of Michael Orr in the Blindside movie, Big Mike, just running kids to the sideline, taking them home. That's what they say in the movie. He does that. He holds his blocks to the next level, drives kids to the sidelines. He's got a huge frame, huge body, but also very athletic. Caden Green is going to be one of the bigger gets that we get in this class. Should help drive these rankings up. And hopefully once he gets here, because I mean, this is part of the 2 Plane Sports Crystal Ball series where we are predicting a commitment. Once he commits and he, makes it official, hopefully he can hop on and start helping Josh Bates start bringing these some more of these offensive linemen in, because Josh Bates has been doing a hell of a job trying to bring everybody and anyone to OU, and Jackson Arnold's doing a little bit of the same. I think Caden Green should hop on that, help bring big boys to campus recruitment social media tour.
I do think that Caden Green is a corner piece in this 2023 chosen class that OU is trying to put together. It would be a catastrophic loss if OU didn't get his commitment on July 8th, because if he doesn't commit, there's a significant drop off on targets that OU hasn't really been working on. Past Caden Green, there's another guy that we're going to talk about on tonight's live stream that also could be committing in July. That's also an offensive tackle. OU did lose out on Jaden Chapman, who was from Harker Heights, Texas. He announced his commitment to the Longhorns. So that's a 4-star offensive lineman off the board after Texas has been getting so many recruits this weekend. So he's off the board. You did see, because of that, OU offered Heath Ozeta, and we kind of thought it was for a different reason, but they must have gotten wind that that Chapman was going to commit to Texas, so they offered Heath Ozeta from Washington. But Caden Green, if he's not a part of this class, would be catastrophic. But I do see it happening. Getting Bates, Green, one or two other offensive linemen. We'll talk about another one tonight. In this class, it's going to be a great haul and something that could build, with Jackson Arnold. This could be a good young core that OU has to have. And Green he's number one in this offensive line. And I think OU is going to get their number one target, which is always good. We always talk about, it's tough seeing all these recruits going elsewhere, but I don't know this for sure, but I believe Caden Green is their number one offensive lineman target in this 2023 class. So you're getting your number one quarterback target, you're getting your number one offensive tackle target or offensive lineman target. That's pretty good. And there's another kid that we're going to be talking about tonight that's their number one wide receiver target, and I think they're getting them too. So while we're not getting the quantity right now, and we haven't seen too many over the last few months, I think they're getting their number one priorities and number one targets, and that says something. So that's just something to think on. All right, so we'll move on. We're going to talk two more defensive side of the ball kind of guys, both in the linebacker room, linebacker edge. PJ Adewore, he's an edge position, 6'4", 240 pounds. He's a 4-star, number 98 overall, number 12 edge player in the class from Kansas City, Missouri. He is someone that this rating hasn't been there for very long. He is shown up on the scene really fast, kind of like a Robert Spears Jennings. That's kind of what I think about, except PJ did this before his senior season. He must have been doing really well at the 7-on-7s and various other camps and workouts and all that other stuff for scouts to see. But this recruitment, OU's basically put him as one of their top priorities. And his brother does play at Northwestern. Northwestern has been looming. Missouri has also been there. So kind of the schedule, or kind of the timeline, he's taken some unofficials to Oklahoma. He's taken an official to Northwestern on May 13th, and then he took an official visit to OU on the 3rd of June, and then he took an official visit on the 10th of June to Missouri. And there were some reports and talks of him taking an official visit to LSU. That never actually came together. That kind of fell apart somewhat recently. And with that happening and kind of canceling that trip, as much as we do still like Jamar Cain, I'm glad he's not going to be able to see PJ on campus. I feel really good about PJ Adewore. And I think this is just going to be an OU Northwestern battle. And Northwestern is really in here probably because it's a prestigious school and his brother's there. But when you think about it objectively with football and how well Oklahoma's been recruiting him, he's been on campus 3 or 4 times and a canceled LSU visit. I feel like this could be a kid that could commit over the next month or so. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. And he's the second of the two. Him and Caden Green are the top 100 players we're talking about. Um, yeah, he's got the perfect size to play either. He played mostly edge from the tape I watched on him before we started recording tonight. And he looked like a man amongst boys and at the high school level there. But at 6'4", 240, he could also play linebacker in college if we decide to do that. I hope he stays edge because I think he has really, really good natural just pass rushing talent and ability. If you haven't seen his tape on 24/7, he's another one that's worth watching. There's about a 7.5-minute video there of him just mauling kids. He can't be contained. He's living in the backfield, all over quarterbacks, all over the run game. He's got the size to knock passes down if he can't hit home. But he also played a lot of special teams in high school, whether it be blocking for the kick returner. He blocked 3 or 4 punts in last season. And what I thought was interesting about Adebawore is he also competed in powerlifting in high school, or competes in powerlifting because he's about to go into his senior year, which I feel like never hurts to have a very, very athletic and fast defensive end who also, though, power lifts and lifts a shit ton of weight. I mean, that helps move offensive tackles out of the way, offensive guards out of the way, in order to hit home and do what you have to do on the football field. PJ Adebawore is a guy that I think a lot of us don't really know too much about yet, or a lot of just the casual fans, but he's a name to get familiar with, and he's also a name to start looking tape on, because I think we'll all be pretty damn excited when he does finally make that official, because he's pretty good.
He is really good. So I'm pretty excited about him. I feel really good about him. I'm not going to say it. I feel the best because I said Kaden Green is the number one, but if I were to take I don't know, Samuel Almossingo is also right up there. I mean, I feel good about all these guys that we're talking about, to be honest with you tonight. I feel like OU lands these 4 guys. We'll also talk tonight on the other 4, but I feel really good about them. PJ has flown up the ratings for a reason, and I think you'll see, as we're going to watch him probably go into the fall season once he's committed to the Sooners. Hopefully everything goes as according to plan, according to the Two Planes Crystal Ball series. I think we're going to see him maintain this rating and potentially go up a little higher. This is someone that I feel like that Chavis and Todd Bates can really get their hands on and really develop him into just a menace along the off the edge of the defensive line. So last guy we're going to be talking about is Phil Picciotti. I think that's how you say it. Brennan, I think, told me that's how you say it. 6'3", 225-pound linebacker, number 446 overall, number 40 linebacker in the class. He's a 3-star. He's from Perkasie, Pennsylvania. And I remember we've been talking about him for a while. And I think what did we do? We talked like we think these are going to be his top 4, top 5 schools. And we thought Penn State was going to be in there because Happy Valley isn't too far away. And then we look like idiots because he doesn't put Penn State up in his top schools. But really his top schools are OU, Nebraska, Michigan, Auburn. He visited OU on the 3rd, Nebraska on the 10th, Michigan on the 14th, and Auburn was this weekend, all in the month of June. And I was reading a little bit about him and his visit to Auburn. And basically he said, there's a lot of good things and they've been making me a priority, but now I'm going to go home, think about, what I've seen over the last month, evaluate, and kind of figure it all out over the next month or so. So he's never been on campus, from my understanding, other than this weekend to Auburn. So this is his first trip. I feel good about that. I don't think Auburn is truly there. It's tough to win someone on one trip to your school. He's been to Oklahoma, I think, once when Lincoln Riley was there, and then he's been 2 or 3 times with Venables and his staff there. Nebraska, in my opinions, they're hanging around NIL. They're restarting, kind of doing the whole reboot there. Michigan, I feel like is a pretty good threat. Michigan, as much as we might not care for them, they do generally have some pretty good linebackers every so often, so they could sell him on that idea. But I think Phil Picciotti, he's been on campus, he's familiar with Venables, he's he's going to be coached by Venables. I feel like it's hard to say no. And if you think about Phil Picciotti and Samuel Almossingo, both at the linebacker position, that's a pretty good haul. I know Phil Picciotti is technically a 3-star, but he doesn't have 3-star stats. Last year, he had 144 tackles, 19 tackles for loss, a sack, a couple forced fumbles. I don't care what level of high school football you're playing. If you rack up 144 tackles in a single season, I think you know what you're doing and you're probably pretty talented. And this is someone that I think could be easily a 4-star comfortably by the end of his senior season. And I feel like it's almost criminal how underrated he is. What do you think?
I was going to say exactly that. Like, I don't understand how this guy is a 3-star. Just when you look at what he does, his production is stupid. I mean, it's absurd. He has really good size, 6'3", 225. But you mentioned 144 tackles, 145 tackles at a linebacker spot. Clearly, he's very instinctual. He sees balls, see ball, get ball kind of player, and he doesn't miss with numbers like that. He's all over the place. It's Zach Thomas, Brian Urlacher, like at the linebacker spot, just constantly hitting people, constantly racking up tackles. And he's a sure tackler. He's a sound tackler. Very excited to think about him paired with a Brent Venables, who we know linebackers is his, main position that he loves and focuses on. I think he can do some really, really crazy things with a guy like Phil Picciotti. But not only him, like when you pair him with just the room that is already there and is coming, like him and Jaden Chapman together on the same field, just with the way they fly around the ball and just make plays is an exciting thing to sit and ponder about. But it's I guess it's just hard not to get really, really excited about what Phil Picciotti can bring to the table with that 144 tackles in high school, and just learning from a guy like BV. Sitting and watching, I imagine he'd have to sit and watch Kobe McKenzie or Jaden Chapman or compete with them on the practice field to see who gets to play, because they're going to be good. They're going to be a lot of fun.
They are. And, I feel good about him. I know we were wrong on his top schools, a month or two ago or whatever it was. Can't be perfect.
Literally, yeah, the very next day after we were like, it's going to be an Oklahoma versus Penn State battle, he drops the top 5 and Penn State's not there. Tough look for TPS that day, but, even the best fall down sometimes.
True. I feel good about where OU is with him. I think Venables can close him out and get him on board. But, kind of some overall thoughts, and this is kind of a tease to tonight's live stream as well. And if you hadn't already, hit the notification bell and subscribe button so you can, keep up to date. If OU goes 8 for 8 with these guys over the next month, and 247 has a feature on their, on their site where you can do the hypothetical class calculator. If these kids commit, this is how many points you will be at and what the team ranking would be. So I plugged in these 8 kids, and we'll talk about the other 4 tonight. If OU goes 8 for 8 over the next month by August 1st, and assuming that all these kids announce within the next month, which it's kind of looking like that they all will, OU will be in 3rd place. Now, this is assuming that no one gets another commit between now and then, which I'm sure will happen. But that'll put OU at 15 commits before the fall season even starts. And OU would be number 3 right now, just a few points behind Ohio State in the class ranking. So while right now it doesn't look great, and I know they're 40-something right now, OU is in the ratings, it's going to happen. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. You just have to trust the process. OU finished really strong last year. I really, truly believe over the next month, we're going to see a flood of recruits. And if it does go like it should, OU could be top five, probably because, a top few schools will pick up another commit or two between now and then. But OU by August 1st very well might be a top five recruiting class. What do you think about that one?
I agree. I think I said it on the Mark Rogers show or on one of the podcasts, and I think you agreed too. And I think even Hose, I can't remember if Jose thought we top five class or not. At the end of the day, we're going to be top 10, I think, no matter what, because and even on this 2 Plane Sports Crystal Ball series where we're predicting 8 guys right now, if something goes sour somewhere along the way and say we end up with 6 of them or, 7 of them, it's still going to take a huge jump in this class. And yeah, you're right. Your big boys, your Ohio's, because I mean Alabama right now is also somewhere sitting in the 30s or 40s, and that's I mean they're not going to stay there either. So when you factor in that Alabama's going to be coming up, and some of these other schools are going to start getting people. The Arch Manning effect at Texas, they're going to land some more kids too. But I think when it's all said and done, this class is easily going to be within the top 10, whether it be 5, 6, 7, or 8, 9. They will be in the top 10. The sky is not falling. Let's just breathe a little bit. I know it's been a while, and we all want to see commits, but they are coming.
And I'll go on a limb and say I think it's top 7. I don't even think it's 8, 9, or 10 when they finish everything up. I think it's a top 7 class. That's a pretty solid haul. And like we've talked about, Venables and his staff, while they've been hired, last December, they're still behind on this 2023 class. Recruiting is years. 2024 is going to be the true test. In 2024, we've talked about on this podcast, can be one of the best recruiting classes that OU's ever had, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So while Texas is enjoying their commits right now, and other schools are as well, a poor showing this fall and some kids getting some cold feet can change a lot of things. And just like we've been through it as OU fans, Lincoln Riley's had a lot of kids commit early in the summer and then flake out at the end because of one reason or another. So just because someone commits in June or July doesn't mean it's over. And I do think it might be far-fetched to think about all 80 of these guys committing to Oklahoma, but I think 6 out of 8 is very doable. I think 5 or 6 is for sure. If everything goes right, I think you could see up to 8 and maybe even 9. There might be some kid out there that we're not going to talk about that could push up his date based off of who commits, and they're seeing there's only so many spots. They might jump at it and fill their spot. So, but all right, well, that's 4 out of 8. I feel like that's a lot of positivity, especially that might be needed after watching OU lose baseball and then all these commits going to Texas. The sky is not falling, like you said, Brandon. Do you have some final thoughts or I guess an individual challenge?
Yeah, we can roll into the end of video. So it's going to be a 2-parter again. One, obviously the baseball season did come to an end today. The team played for a national title game. Really, really a hell of a year. Show some support for those guys in the comments. It really was a great season. It's a horrible ending, and it sucks to lose in any national championship game. But at the end of the day, they made it to a national championship series when they were picked 6th in the Big 12 in the preseason. So they obviously exceeded expectations. Had a really hell of a year. Tough end, but great season. Congratulate those guys on that. And secondly, what did you think of the 4 guys we talked about tonight? What do you think of the 2 Plane Sports Crystal Ball series? And also, this video drops at 9:30 Central Time, so there's a long time until we start live tonight. Drop your comments on what you want to see us talk about, whether it be recruiting-wise, whether it be the baseball team. Just give us some fun topics that you guys want to see hit on the live stream. You're muted.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You got it. Every now and then, the best fall down, right? So anyway, no, that's a really good individual challenge, bunch of different things. OU baseball, they exceeded expectations. Really excited for the future coming up. But yeah, it would definitely help to see, some suggestions as far as topics or something that maybe we need to brush up on as far as a recruit or a, something that you guys want to talk about tonight. So be sure to comment and let us know. And maybe we'll try to get Toby Rowland on in the future to talk about this baseball run. I don't know. We'll see if he'll come back and talk with us, unless we scared him off after the last time he was on here.
Jeez, man, you're giving away all of our secrets. All we're
I
trying
don't
to do
know.
on this program. We'll
I don't
see.
know. Yeah, we'll see. So we'll see you guys tonight. Remember, it's 8 o'clock Central, and be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell, and do the individual challenge. And we will see you guys in 11 hours or whatever it is. See ya.